What's up, guys? Average Kiwi Guy here. How y'all doing? So, Gotham today. It was a pretty good episode. I actually really liked this one. It had some interesting pairing ups. It had a little bit of backstory, like a little bit of a conclusion on some things, and it's sort of the start of essentially the ultimate goal of Gotham, essentially, which is Batman. It's the very beginning sort of feeling of it. So that was pretty cool. But you guys know the drill. This is Spoiler Central. I'm going to spoil the hell out of this episode. So please, if you have not seen this episode, go and watch it. Then come on back. You'll know what we're talking about. You can get into it a bit more that way. And yeah, I just don't want to ruin it for you guys, okay? All right. Okay. So these delicate and dark obsessions. The name of this thing, it's a bit of a twist on the tongue. I liked it. I think it was really good. For me, it was like the very beginnings of the concept of Batman, especially in the Bruce storyline. Essentially, like the way that the shaman guy is, it's basically using these needles to like open up Bruce's mind to make him experience his parents' death over and over again, so that he can move past it. Basically, what their ultimate plan is to make him a symbol for Gotham to stop the corruption and crime in Gotham, and to finally put an end to it. They've tried many different ways, and this is what they think. Now, I'm not saying that what the ultimate plan is Batman, because I think it's definitely their own version. Like, it would probably be a guy who goes around killing and does the bidding of the League of Shadows, because you can't tell me where they are is not the League of Shadows, the League of Assassins. You can't tell me that. It's bang on that. It's right in the mountains. It's Nanda Parbat. It's hard out. It's hard out that. So you can't tell me that it's not them. So for me, that's definitely their plan. They're like, we're going to train him. We're going to make him into our version, essentially, of Batman. They don't know it's Batman, though. But, it's their version. And this is giving Bruce the concept for that future endeavor. This is what will essentially propel him to become Batman in the end. So I thought that was pretty cool. I like that whole concept of that. Because I like the lore of things. I like the whole background on stuff. And for me, that little storyline that was in this was probably the most exciting one. Because of that. Because of the connection to Batman and things like that. And I liked how they basically said, listen, like, he goes, like, the Court of Owls are a tool. And this is what the League of Assassins and the League of Shadows do. They use tools to get things done, like fear and all, things like that. The Court of Owls is a tool for them to control Gotham. Now, Gotham must be, like, the most corrupt city in the world, because the League of Shadows always wants to take over it or cleanse it or do something. It's always in the crosshairs. I don't know. It's just the way the stories always work out. But yeah, they basically use the Court of Owls to control Gotham, to try and stop its crime or corruption in their mind. And, basically it's at a point now where they have to wipe the slate clean again. And, well, at least the court thinks so. And the League thinks, well, maybe we need to create something that will stop this. A symbol that will stop this. And that's where Batman will come in. So that's pretty cool. That was very, very cool. That was something that, it was probably, the highlight of this episode was that little bit. And the whole, like, acupuncture thing, and, how the prison that he's in is essentially, like, just a maze. And, he has to try and figure out how to get out of it while sort of becoming stronger. So it's going to be interesting to see how Bruce develops through this story arc, especially being away from Gotham, which I think is a good thing. I think that's gonna be good, and it's away from all the other characters too. So I always think that's a good thing for some characters, is some isolation away from the main cast. Because then they can develop on their own. And I think this is where Bruce will essentially grow up, because he's been doing that. He's been doing that. He's been learning skills. He's been learning how to fight and, all this stuff, and, becoming more wise as to what's going on, and, investigation and things like that. So he's been growing up. Now I think he's going to take a big step. A big step. And I'm not saying he's going to get the Batman, because he's years away from that. But, he's growing, and he's beginning to get to the point where that type of stuff will start, twirling in his head a little bit. The concept of it will start, coming in. So yeah, this will definitely spur him on to do that. So I really like that part. Then obviously the Jim Gordon stuff, and the stuff with his uncle and his father, and essentially he starts to reinvestigate his father's death, and they figure out that the drunk driver that hit his dad couldn't possibly have been drunk, because he has like a hyperactive liver or something. And apparently if he has even like a little bit of alcohol, it could kill him. So there's no way in hell he could have been drunk and hit his dad's car. It just wouldn't have happened. And yeah, that basically leads Gordon to Falcone, because Falcone paid for this guy's lawyer to get him out of jail one time, and it put him on Falcone's payroll. And then Falcone essentially leads him to his uncle. He says, well, your uncle ordered the hit, and that was the court telling him that, his father was getting, too talkative, trying to break up the court, so that ain't gonna happen. And yeah, he's like, essentially goes after his uncle, which is pretty crazy. And his uncle is still, meanwhile, trying to get, news on what's going on. Like this, apparently they had this big vote at the start for the Court of Owls, which is a bit, a little bit sort of culty secret, organization thing, but that's what the court is. And they all voted to do this cleansing thing, where they bring in this weapon to cleanse Gotham. Like, Gotham's corruption has gotten so far that it just can't be stopped. It has to be cleansed now. We have to, like, destroy Gotham, essentially. Again. This is the third time. The third time that Gotham's been cleansed. It's like, my God, Gotham. Seriously. And, as his uncle's trying to figure out what's happening, and he tells Jim about the docks where the weapon's supposed to be coming in. And of course Jim can't go there, because if he goes there, the court will know that he's on to them. So he gets an old friend, Barbara, who's still crazy. Who's still that way. I don't know what they're doing with that character. I don't know what they're trying to do with her. Because I don't know. Because she's still, meant to become Barbara Gordon. Like, the character herself, essentially. But she's not. I don't know if you can come back from where she is. I don't know. So, it's going to be weird. It's going to be interesting to see how she develops from here. Like, is she still just going to go into this sort of kind of like a Harley Quinn type thing? Like, she's not as crazy as Harley, but she's still going that crazy, gangster, well, not gangster, but, crime, sort of, likes inflicting pain on people type thing. She's sort of that way. So I don't know what they're doing with this character. She's the one confusing character that there's more than one, but she's one of the most confusing characters in Gotham for me. And I mean, I like the direction they went. I think it's interesting. It made, Barbara Gordon something, I don't think many people would have thought would have happened when Gotham, first came to being, was to make, essentially Barbara Gordon a bad guy. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see. It is gonna be very interesting to see how they develop her character from now on. Um, and she essentially does this favor for Jim, but we don't know what the price is after all. And she goes and investigates this dock for him, and tries to figure out what's going on. And they figure out that the weapon already came in. It came in about a week ago. So, and it came from Indian Hill. So it's either gonna be like, another sort of like a mutant. I don't know what you would call them, like human experiment freak. I don't know. Like I was thinking it could be Victor Freeze, but I think he got away, so I don't think it was him. It's gonna be interesting to see who it is. I don't think it would be Fish. No, I don't know. It's gonna be it's gonna be interesting to see who it is. Because it was like the crate looked about like a human containment sort of size. So it's gonna be interesting to see. And basically, the court sends a Talon in to take care of it. The sword wielding badass Talon who can like deflect bullets with a sword and just kills all of Barbara's men. And Barbara and Tigress get out. They bug out, and that Talon was badass. He's like kind of what you would think Slade Wilson would be like, with a sword. It gave me that vibe, but I don't think it's Slade Wilson. But he was very cool. I like that scene a lot. And that essentially leads Jim to say, well, hey, to his uncle, what's going on? It's already here, and he's like, well, obviously the court doesn't trust me anymore, and the court has ordered Jim's uncle to kill Jim because he's gotten too close. And his uncle essentially goes, right, you're going to have to replace me on the court. You have to. There's no other way. And this is the only way we're going to do it. Puts his gun up to his head and boom. It was brutal. It was a brutal scene. Like, I was like, I mean, I knew it was coming, but I thought he was going to make Jim shoot him. I thought he was like, Jim was going to have to shoot him, and that was going to have to be the whole thing. Like, you have to shoot me. You have to do this. You have to become a member of the court. And nah, he was just like, boom. It was kind of like, whoa, okay. That's kind of brutal. But it was, hit that. It wasn't like a revolutionary sort of story for Jim. It was, I mean, I like where it's going. I like how he's going to be in with the court and he's going to have to sort of infiltrate them and learn things about the court and all that. So I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. But I think they definitely need to, I don't know. It's going to have to culminate to something very exciting for me to sort of get back behind Jim, because Jim's kind of stagnated a little bit. After he came back from being a bounty hunter, he's kind of just been the same. So, it's going to have to culminate to something kind of shocking, I think, for Jim to make him kind of exciting again. From what he was at the start, I felt like he was a far more exciting character, like sort of first season, mid-season, second season, but he's starting to drag on a little bit, so we'll see how he goes. And then another very interesting pair-up, which was kind of funny, Ivy and Penguin, which was, I liked it. I think it was kind of funny. Like, I like how they're starting to use Ivy a little more. Like, Poison Ivy's like an important villain in Batman, so I like to see Ivy grow a little bit more. I mean, I like her. I think she's still a little immature. She's definitely very immature, but I mean, like, she's technically like a 12-year-old, 13-year-old kid that got aged up very quickly. So technically she's still at like a teenager type maturity level. So I get that part, but I still like seeing, her be Poison Ivy. So I like that. And yeah, paired up with Penguin. And her basically just wanting to be friends with him. She's just like, I just want you to be nice to me, and like I just want you to like kind of be my friend. And she just, I think she just wants something to do. I think that's the big thing. She's just like, I just want something to do. I just want something to, occupy my time essentially. It's fair enough. And yeah, she basically calls out Penguin's like main crony, that big guy. I can never remember his name. And she's like, you can't trust him. Like, I don't like the look of him. He looks like he's not trustworthy. And Penguin's like, nah, it's fine. Go away, you annoying little girl, sort of thing. Go away. And she's like, all right. And guess what? He betrays him. It's like, surprise. It was gonna happen. And yeah, and then basically she saves them. She uses that perfume that gets, men to do whatever she wants. And yeah, she kills all the guys, and except for the big guy. And Penguin basically uses Ivy to figure out, like, can I trust you? Can I, do this? And yeah, she uses the perfume, and no, he's like, we only followed you out of fear. And he was like, oh, that's good. Fear and respect. I like that. He's like, no, not respect. No. We just thought you as a little freak who carried an umbrella. And that set him off. Like, just, I'll never look at a garden tool the same way, because he just picked it up and just, boom. I was like, damn. That was, it showed how unhinged Penguin is. And I mean, Penguin, and the Penguin character is kind of unhinged. Like, he's not the most in control, gangster, leader guy, boss. A gangster boss, sorry, gangster leader guy. Gangster boss. He's not. He's very wild. He's very like emotional, which a lot of the gangster boss, in Gotham are. Like, Two-Face is very emotional sometimes too. So Penguin and him are kind of similar. So this is, quite, it played to Penguin's character quite well. And I liked it. And essentially their big plan is, hey, why don't we go find all the Indian Hill guys and we make an army out of them and we just be freaks together, So yeah, that was them. And I quite like that pairing. I like that pairing between Ivy and Penguin. So we'll see how long it lasts. I don't think it's gonna last too long, but I think it's gonna be interesting. But yeah, I mean, otherwise it was a pretty solid episode. I liked it a lot. Like I said, the stuff with Bruce is very intriguing. For me, it's the beginnings of the concept of Batman. So we're getting into like the start of it all. And I think that's a really cool place to see. Like, we don't get to see that much when it comes to a Batman thing. We don't get to see the what created Batman. Like, where was the start? Where was the start where Bruce said, right, this is the direction I'm going to go. So that's definitely going to be cool to see. And I'm very excited to see it. I think the rest of the season is going to be very good. And I'm pretty excited for it. But yeah. All right, guys. I think that's going to be it for us. Thank you very much for watching. Make sure to hit that subscribe button down there. Also, hit us up on Twitch, twitch.tv/TheAverageKiwiGuy. Hit that follow button. We just hit 50 followers up there, so that was pretty cool. Thank you, guys. We should be back to streaming this week. Also, check us out on Instagram, Twitter, all that stuff. Average Kiwi Guy. You can find me. You know where to go. All right, guys. I'll catch us later. Peace.